So, this is my hammock. So I thought I would bring you here to read you a few chapters of my book. It's my favorite place in my yard. It's where I get a lot of writing done and reading and just relaxing and enjoying. So I thought it would be a good place to sit and read the first few chapters. I'm going to start. I'm Alice Cangemi, and this is my book, The Darkness Before Dawn. I'm going to start with the prologue and read straight through chapter 1. And the reason I'm doing that is because some people find the prologue, including me, we find the prologue a little hard, but I promise this book is positive and uplifting. But there are a couple of chapters that deal with sensitive topic, but they need to, because people need to see what's happening from her perspective. So I'm going to start with the prologue, and I will read the prologue in chapter 1, and then I'm hoping to do chapters 2 and 3 as well. That way people will see if it's their thing or not. And if it is, hopefully you'll look at thedarknessbeforedawn.com and email me, get yourself a copy. Remember, I donate all proceeds from this book to charity. Thank you. Prologue, The Shed. He takes my hand and leads me to the back of the old burnt house. We're walking through the high, crunchy, dry grass. He's walking fast, so I almost have to run to keep up with him. I don't want to go. We were having so much fun. The grass is hitting me all over my legs, and it's making them sting. It's so crispy and hard it hurts my skin. I try to swat it away with my free hand as we walk faster through the backyard. I want to keep playing, keep running, keep swinging, keep talking and spending the day with him. I know where we're going. He's sick again. He must not feel good today. I can always feel when he don't feel good. He changes. He gets very serious and not playful at all. I want him to feel better, but I don't want to go in there again. I hate it in there. The shed is getting closer. I want to run away. I want to scream. I want him to let go of my hand and chase me through the wildflowers where we can run and laugh and play. I love being with him when he's well. He makes me feel all grown up, even though I'm only 6. He listens to me, plays with me, and talks to me about everything. He takes care of me and keeps me safe. But all of that is when he's well. When he is sick, he's very different. He's not fun at all. We're getting closer, stepping over and around the old wheels and car parts scattered around on the front ground. Some are covered with grass and weeds, so I try not to trip over them. Please let me go. I really don't want to go in there. I try to pull my arm away, but he won't let go and keeps walking. Come on, Dawn. You know I won't hurt you. I never hurt you. He don't think he hurts me, but he does. It hurts me a lot. It hurts my heart and hurts my head. It always makes me feel bad, very bad. And here we are again, standing at the big metal door to the shed, the old tin building I hate so much. He reaches up and turns the big block of wood nailed to the front that keeps the door closed. He pulls the door open and then softly puts his hand on my back and pushes me into the shed in front of him, still holding on to my hand really tight. I hate this smell. The smell of old dirt, rust, gasoline, sweat, and sickness. And the air feels cold even though it's summertime and hot outside. I always feel cold when I'm in here. It makes the hair on my arms and legs stand up, and my skin gets goosebumps all over, even when I'm sweating. He lets go of my hand and reaches behind his back to close and chain the door. And here we are, standing in the place I hate most in this world. And here it is again, the darkness. Chapter 1, Crawfishing. I'm so glad summer's finally here. The best part is that I get to play with Jared every day. He had to go to school this year, but during the summer he will be home all the time again. He lives next door to us. I can't see his house from mine because of all the trees. But if you walk all the way through the woods, you can see his house when you walk out. Every day we meet behind his garage and find something fun to do. I've known him my whole life. He's really fun to be with. He is my very best friend. Next year, I get to go to school too. Jared just had his birthday. He turned 7. I'll be 6 at the end of the summer and we'll start going to school when Jared goes back. He got to go to kindergarten, but I won't get to. Graham said I didn't get to go to kindergarten with Jared because of my birthday. I was too young. But since I know my ABCs and can count and read, I get to start in 1st grade next year with Jared. I'm really excited because this means Jared won't be leaving me to go to school again. It's so lonely without him. Next time he goes off to school, I get to go with him. Today, we're going crawdad fishing. He says we need to do it now because when it starts getting dry during the summer, they go away, so there aren't as many to catch. I go into the kitchen and get some bacon and bologna and then back outside to find Jared. He's getting the string and hooks to put on the bait and an old coffee can to reach down and scoop them up with and a bucket to put our catches in. We meet back up and start walking back to the pond behind our houses. It's not our pond. It's through the trees behind us in the backyard of an old house that nobody lives in. There's never anyone at the pond, so it's very quiet and pretty. We like to go there to fish, play in the water, and just talk. We walk through the high grass and I try to keep up with Jared, but he walks pretty fast. I have to run a little to stay up with him. But when he sees me back a little ways, he slows down some for me to catch up. We get to the pond, hook the meat to the end of the strings, and drop them into the shallow part of the water. You can see the crawfish moving around, stirring up mud and running into the holes under the water. Jared goes to get us some sticks to tie our strings to while I hold his string. He finds 2 pretty good ones. One is a little bigger and smoother than the other. He hands it to me and says, "Here, this one will be better for you since you have girl hands." Jared, I can use either one. You can keep the best one if you want. My hands are fine, I tell him, handing the big smooth stick out to him, mad that he's treating me like a girl again. "No, I want you to have that one. It'll catch lots of crawfish, and I caught the most last time." He gives me his cute little wink, and I want to be mad at him, but I can't be, especially not when he smiles at me and gives me that wink. He knows how much I hate for him to treat me like a girl. I know he's just teasing, but it still makes me mad. We wrap the string around the sticks and wait for a bite. After a few minutes, a crawfish pinches the bacon at the end of my string, so I hurry and pull it up out of the water. Jared pokes his stick down into the mud and comes running over to help me get my crawdad into the bucket. "You got a red pincher, Dawn. See the red on the claws?" he asked me, pointing to its red pinchers, and I nod. "It may be the biggest one we get today," he says, all excited. Jared always seems just as happy when I catch one as when he does. "Well, you must have been right about that stick then," I tell him. "Don't you wish you would have kept it now?" I put my hand on my hip and stare at him, trying to make him wish he would have kept that stick. He looks at me and grins. "No, I wanted you to have it. I thought it would be good luck for you, he says, and he means it. He's always so nice to me, and he's really cute. He has straight, dark brown hair that hangs in his eyes. His eyes are big and blue. I think they're brighter blue than mine, and people say mine are pretty blue. He's a little taller than me with really light skin, but we both get way darker skin in the summer. Sometimes our face hurts from the sun, so we play in the shade when we get too hot. And he's kind of skinny, which is why I think he can run so fast. We sit here for a really long time catching crawfish. I think it's been hours, but I'm not good at telling time yet. Jared found us a few old paint cans and we flipped them upside down to sit on. He sits them out behind a big dead tree that fell down near the pond. We play on that tree a lot. There's a pier made out of wood that goes out over the water we like to sit on. We like to sit on it sometimes too, even though it has some splinters. You have to be careful not to slide on it when you're wearing shorts or pull your hands across it too fast. Me and Jared have both gotten splinters a bunch of times from sitting out here before. We had to pull a splinter out of my leg one time and it really hurt. He didn't mean to hurt me though. Jared would never hurt me on purpose. He said we needed to get it out or it would get infected. I'm not sure what infected means, but Jared made it sound really bad, so I let him get it out. The pier has a big metal roof on it with a Texas star hanging at the top. It gives us shade when we're sitting out here all day, but it goes out to the water where it's too deep for crawdad fishing. That's where we sit when he brings his fishing pole and smaller pole that he made for me out of a strong stick he smoothed out with sandpaper. We'll go find worms and catch real fish when we sit out there. They're too small to eat though, so we always just throw them back. He has to get my fish off the hook when I catch one because they move and wiggle too much for me to pull the hook out of their mouths. Really? I just don't want to hurt them. And he's really good at doing it fast, so it won't hurt the fish. Well, Jared says it don't hurt the fish any, although it seems like it would to me. He goes fishing and hunting with his daddy all the time, so he knows a whole bunch about it. His daddy is really good at fishing too, and he's the one who taught Jared how to do it. We sit quiet for a while, then some wind comes by and it feels good. I forgot to put my hair in a ponytail today, so my back and neck are getting really hot and sweaty with the sun beating down on us. I have straight, long brown hair that hangs all the way down my back, so it gets really hot in the sun when I don't put it up. Tomorrow, I need to remember to get Graham to put my ponytail in for me before I leave to get Jared. Jared looks over at me and says, "Do you know what I like about you, Dawn?" "What, Jared?" I say, smiling at him. "I like that you like to go crawfishing even though you're a girl," he says and smiles really big at me. He's always making fun of me because I'm a girl, but that was a really nice thing of him to say. He always thinks of nice things to say to me. I like that about Jared. I like that about him a lot. "Oh, Jared, you need to get over the girl thing. I can do anything you can do. Anything," I say, teasing him and letting him know that just because I'm not a boy don't mean I'm not as good as him. "Oh yeah? Well, can you run this fast?" He throws his stick down and takes off running into the high grass. I drop mine too and start chasing him, but he's way too fast for me to catch. He's zipping all around the tall grass and then he slows down just enough for me to almost catch him. Every time I get kind of close, he goes really fast again and is way out of my reach. We run and run until we're both out of breath. Finally, I can't run anymore, so I fall to the ground laughing and try to breathe again. He comes up and flops down beside me, holding his belly, trying to catch his breath too. "You don't run faster because you're a boy," I say, still breathing really hard. "You run faster because you're older and your legs are longer. One of these days, I'm gonna catch you, Jared Sterling, and I can't wait." "Dawn, you'll never catch me. Not unless I let you, he says, laughing and holding on to his side on the ground. We will see about that, I tell him, but really, I think he's right. He is way too fast, and I'm afraid he's only going to get faster when he grows up really big. We walk back behind his garage to get some water from the hose, and he squirts me with it a little when it first comes on. I let out a funny scream and try to take the hose from him, but he holds on to it tight, pulling back, keeping it away from me. No way! You need to take a drink while I hold it. If I let you hold it, you'll squirt me, he says, still holding on to the hose really tight. Well, maybe if you wouldn't have gotten me wet with it, I wouldn't have, I tell him with my hands on my hips, trying to look all serious. Yes, you would have, he says, smiling. You're right, I would have, I say, smiling back at him as I lean up towards the stream of water, holding my hair back away from my face. Thinking about squirting Jared with the hose makes me giggle while I bend down and take a drink. I've squirted him lots of times before, and it's fun. He usually tries to take the hose from me while I'm squirting him, but he gets really wet before he gets it away from me. Then he always gets really wet too, but it feels nice and cool and makes us both laugh. We start to feel hungry, so we go back to our houses to get some food. We like to eat together, but sometimes they make us stay home for lunch. When we can, we bring our lunches outside to eat while we can keep playing. We like to share with each other. When I come back, he's already here with his stick in the water trying to catch up with me. Did you catch any more while I was gone, Jared? Yes, I caught 100 more already, but I threw them all back, he says, winking at me. Can you even count to 100, I ask him, trying to be funny. If I'm counting crawfish, I can, he says, smiling at me, and I know he's right. He's really cute, especially when he smiles, and he usually smiles at me a lot. We walk over to the pier and sit in the shade while we eat. I lay out an apple, a bag of Cheetos, and a fried chicken leg left over from last night that I found in the refrigerator. He puts a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on his lap and sets a Twinkie beside him. He knows I love Twinkies. He starts eating his sandwich and asks if I want some. I take a bite and then I give him some of my chicken leg. He takes a few bites of it and says that it's good. We share the Cheetos until they're all gone, and then he hands me the Twinkie. I'll take a bite when you open it, I tell him, trying to hand it back. No, here, I brought it for you, he says, pushing it back to me. I know you really like them a lot. He smiles at me really big, and I can see little holes in his cheeks that Graham calls dimples. I like seeing Jared's dimples because it means that he's really happy. Thank you. I rip the package open with my teeth and start eating it. Man, these things taste so good. Are you sure you don't want a bite, Jared? He shakes his head no. You can have it all. I'll start the apple, he says, picking up the apple and taking a big bite. I don't know why he don't like these things. They're so soft and sweet. When I finish it, he hands me the apple and I take a bite. It isn't nearly as good, but Graham said if I eat one a day, it'll keep the doctor away. I hope sharing one with Jared counts. Why were there so many people at your place last night? I saw a bunch of cars, I asked, taking another bite of the apple and then passing it back to him. My sister has a new baby, so some of my family came over to see her while they were visiting us. He takes another bite of the apple and it makes a big crunch sound. How many sisters and brothers do you have? I know it seems like a lot. I can't even remember all of their names. You always seem to have a bunch of people at your place. He hands it back to me and answers me while he's still chewing on his bite of the apple. I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters. They're all grown up and live in their own houses, but the ones who still live pretty close around here come over to visit us all the time. Wow, that's a lot of kids. I guess you were the runt of the litter, huh? That's what Graham calls the smallest puppy. I wonder why you're so young and they're all so old, I say, as I take another bite. Mama told me I was like a surprise Christmas present. You know, like when you wake up on Christmas morning and open all your presents, and you're done and kind of sad that all the presents are open because you won't get to open anymore. But then all of a sudden you see that one little present behind the tree hiding in the corner that no one saw, and how happy you are that you still have one more present left to open. She said I'm like that one little Christmas present. She's glad she got one more present to open when she thought she was done, he says, looking so proud. Oh, I'm glad your mama got so many presents. I guess my mama only got one, I say, looking down and feeling kind of sad. Sometimes when you get just the right present, you don't really need any other presents, Jared says, finishing our apple. Jared always says such nice things. He's always really good at making me feel better when I'm sad. Look, Dawn, you got another bite, he says, pointing at my stick. We run over to it, and we really have to work at this one. It don't hold on long enough to be pulled out of the water, so he grabs me the coffee can and I chase it for a bit, holding the can low in the water without dragging the bottom. That makes it too muddy to see. Jared taught me that. Then finally, I get it. After I get him in the bucket, Jared asks me if I'm done with the apple. I shake my head yes, so he takes the core and throws it way out in the water. Wow, that was really far, I tell him. I wish I could throw as far as Jared. Yeah, boys can throw a lot farther than girls, he says, looking over at me, waiting to see what I'll say. Are you just trying to make me mad today, Jared? I say, because Jared is really pushing this girl thing today. Maybe, he says, and then he starts giggling. He's really cute when he giggles, so I can't help but smile at him and giggle a little too. Jared can always make me laugh, so I can never really be mad at him. It's starting to get dark, so we finish up for the day. The bottom of the bucket is full of crawfish. We count them. I caught 8 and he caught 6, so we caught 14 in all. They're all fighting with each other. The blood pinchers are really mean and are bullying the other crawfish. We dump the bucket over near the shallow water and watch them as they run all crazy and find their way back into the water. We can hear his mama calling him, so we know it's time to go in. He puts our paint can chairs back up against the tree trunk until we want to use them again, then picks up the sticks, strings, and hooks and puts them in the bucket. I pick up the Twinkie wrapper and wad it up with the other trash and then throw the chicken leg out into the woods for the animals to eat. We head home while Jared swings the bucket, talking about all the crawdads we caught today. We get back to his garage and he starts putting the bucket and stuff away. We hear his daddy's white work truck come up. It has big toolboxes on the sides and a big round yellow water cooler that has a white button you push to get water to come out on the back. We run out front to the driveway to meet him. Jared is always really excited to see him. He gets out of the truck and rubs Jared's hair, making it look all fussed up. Then he comes over to me, picks me up under my arms and puts me up on top of the toolbox by the cab so my legs are hanging over the side. He's tall and has big hands, so he can pick me up really easy. His hair is gray and he has dark skin from the sun and gray whiskers on his face. He smells like he's been out in the sun sweating all day, just like Gramps does when he comes home from work. So, what have you two been up to today? He asks. He starts loading Jared up with things to take in the house while he's talking. He gives him his lunch kit, his chewing tobacco, a newspaper, and some empty cans. We went crawdad fishing and played on the swings, and Jared beat me running again. He's really fast. I grin at Mr. Sterling as I tell him about our day, kicking and swinging my legs over the toolbox. I like being this high. I can see him right in the eyes. Jared walks in the house to give all of the stuff to his mama. Well, you know, my son is a mighty lucky little boy to have such a pretty little girl to play with every day. I wish I would have had a little girl like you to play with, Dawn. All I had was 3 brothers, and they're all just as ugly as me, he says, and then he laughs and winks at me. He winks just like Jared, and their eyes even look the same. I wonder if Mr. Sterling used to have brown hair like Jared. Jared walks back outside with us. Mr. Sterling lifts me up off the toolbox and puts me back on the ground beside Jared. He starts walking up towards the house. Tell your Gramps he needs to come have coffee with me when he has the chance. I haven't seen him in a month of Sundays. I will, I yell back at him. Jared walks me through the woods towards my house. He always walks me home. He makes sure I can see my house and turns around. I'll see you tomorrow, Dawn, he says, as he starts back through the woods on the path towards the house. Towards his house, sorry. Okay, and Jared? Yeah, Dawn, he says, turning around to look at me. I'm really glad summer is here, I say with a smile. Me too, he says, and he smiles back at me and then turns to walk home. I'm so glad I get to see Jared tomorrow morning. I'm really happy that he's not in school anymore. The next chapter is called Swinging High, and I'll have another video for it. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've never done this before, and it's kind of fun. I hope you've heard enough to actually be interested in my book. If so, you can go to thedarknessbeforedawn.com to find out more.